Welcome back to another installment of Buy or Invest. This time I'm going over the release of RWBY, which comes out on December 22nd, which is actually Wednesday because it got delayed from this past week. And what I normally do is I take a look at the anime following, the meta strength, the prices in the Japanese format, which doesn't exist for this set, and any other things that I do see out there. So let's begin. First up, we got the anime following. The anime following is very interesting because if you go on my anime list, this is something I just recently learned. I typed in RWBY at the top of the screen and I clicked the first thing that came up, which is normally the anime. And when I clicked it, it was the manga. And then I got really confused because I typed it again and I couldn't find it. And I'm like, what is the deal here? So there really is no anime following because of this. And it made me remember all the times that people would talk about Parmesan cheese. I know I'm talking about cards, but I'm going to go back to Parmesan cheese because we are going to use the example of Parmigiano Reggiano, because for a cheese to be classified as Parmigiano Reggiano, it must come from particular regions of Italy and contain only certain approved ingredients. And it needs to be aged at least 1 year and up to 3 years. And I'm like, wait a second. Because I bring this up because I read this on my anime list in the forum. So someone actually asked, if RWBY's manga is on here, why isn't the anime? And somebody wrote back, because the manga is made by a Japanese mangaka, but the anime, it's not an anime, is made by an American animation studio for that reason. And someone wrote down below, this is my anime list after all, not my American cartoon list. And I'm like, dang, I didn't know that. I had no clue. I didn't know there was this whole thing that anime is made in Japan. That was new to me. So when I talk about anime following for RWBY, it is not actually anime, but there is a following for it. And what I did was I went out onto YouTube of course, and Rooster Teeth actually has some of the first season on there, and what we got is 15 million views for chapter 1 of the actual series. So 15 million views, kind of a lot. When I look at volume 2 and beyond, season 2 and beyond, what I see, I don't see actually full episodes out there. There was actually an upload of the food fight from Volume 2, Episode 1, and that got 1.1 million views. What Rooster Teeth actually does have out there now is the chibi episodes. They made these suckers in the chibis, and as you could see 3 years ago, Season 3 of those chibi episodes actually does have 1.8 million views. I know when I take a look at Facebook or even Reddit, other places like that, I do see people asking about this Weiss set. They're new. They're trying to get into it. I see people going, I really want this set, or I'm going to max rarity it, or I want those SPs. There are new people that are coming into this game for whatever reason, whether they want to play it, whether they want to collect it because of RWBY. And for that reason, you could just tell that this is going to be a popular collected set. Will it be worth a ton of money? Again, that depends on supply. We've seen with the last couple sets. But there should be enough people coming in wanting these cards because of the IP itself. Then I got to looking at this actual chibi because I didn't see it. And I put this one in here because I love Penny. Penny's great. One of the reasons I didn't want to review this set was because I didn't see a Penny card until I think it was like last week. And I'm like, finally, you finally put Penny in here, so I will talk about it. And here we are, the chibi episode. What it reminded me of was this game called Rebirth for You, where they actually have chibi cards, chibi characters on cards. And if this doesn't work out with Weiss Schwarz, I know this is more an English exclusive, maybe you shove these things on Rebirth for You. How about that? When I do take a look at buying or investing, I normally take a look at the meta. Thankfully, when I looked at the cards, I thought they were decent enough. I don't think they were mind-blowing up there like Data Live or anything like that, but I didn't think they were weak either. I thought they were a little better than average. When you take a look at the cards individually, check out these guys. As you can see here, Burn 1, they just did a full set card review of RWBY just about 2 days ago, I think. 1 day ago. 2 days ago, actually. It's been 2 days. So go check it out if you want to actually look through all the cards. My thoughts line, mine is not as in-depth, of course, but you can hear them talk about it. And overall, I think I agree with them. I definitely agree with them. But overall, I think the set is decent enough to better. Which is actually, as I say that, which is actually a nice part of English exclusives. It seems like English exclusives aren't completely weak or terrible, which is nice because if you get new players into the game, you don't, or new collectors, you don't want them to actually get a set and have it be all that bad, right? So I can't imagine that these sets will be overpowered to the point that they're like A to S class, but it couldn't be too weak that people get disenfranchised by the game right away because, you know, if this is your first entry into it, how bad would it feel if it just dies to everything? That wouldn't be good. This set definitely does give you a lot of different options. As I said before, RWBY is an English exclusive, comes out on 12/22. I hope it does anyways. I'm looking to open this as kind of like a Christmas type thing. Booster boxes for anybody new out there, I've seen range from $56 to $75. The high end is definitely what you want to avoid. I mean, go for the middle. Like if you're paying like 60 something, okay. Trial deck, same thing. There is a trial deck that will be released. It is, I've seen $16.25. I would definitely try to avoid the $25 price point. Supply set, I've seen $26 to $45. I've seen people actually buy it for $45, which in my mind is still insane. I would definitely be looking for the 30s if you can't find like below 30. There you go. I wouldn't be paying into the 40s. That's just crazy to me. Booster boxes, again, we have packs, 8 cards, booster box, 20 packs. There is a PR card in a booster box, but keep in mind, there is a shiny parallel version of that PR, and that's in the supply set. Cases have 16 booster boxes. In this version, English exclusives always have 4 rubber non-stitch playmats. In other sets, they are stitched, but you only get 1. But with the English exclusives, you get 4. I would imagine they just do that because, again, you want to get people into the game. So having that nice playmat, it's not as nice as the stitch one, but having a playmat go along with your booster box, trial deck, supply sets, it's really, really nice. And I know some stores where if you buy 4, because, you know, a booster box case is 16, if you buy 4, they will give you 1 playmat, which is also a nice bonus there for you. So if you're only going to look for to buy a couple of them, maybe look for one that actually throws in a playmat as well. And as always, 2 cases equal 1 master case. That's important when it comes to the actual drop rate. Below, what I seen when I was looking through the set, I see commons, uncommons, rare, double rare, SR, triple rare, your normal stuff. We got 4 RWBY rares, 4 SPs, 1 SEC, and there should be 4 PRs, which I'm talking about the booster box ones, not the trial deck. So booster boxes, you have 100 types of cards of the non-foil, and then you have 36 parallel versions. What we have here is the booster box SEC. I am disappointed by this just because it's Pyrrha is a cool character, and I'm not saying I don't want her as an SEC. What I'm disappointed in is this thing is a stamp, right? You see that. There's no signature or anything. We got a quote, we got her weapon there, and then we got RWBY underneath. That is very disappointing. If you haven't seen what happened with Heaven's Field 2 and the SEC, it's not pretty. And at the same time, we only have 1 SEC. I'm a fan of when the sets actually have 2 SECs to make it more rare, right? To give us more foils, but also give us less of them. We don't want as many. The supply is a huge thing. So overall, I am actually really disappointed in it. On the art, I'm fine with the art. Like Pyrrha is over there. It looks pretty clean to me. I think that's one of the better arts. The thing about this set is, as you are going to see, you are either gonna like these art or you are going to hate them. There's no in between. I don't think people either hate this or like it. I think this animation, I'm fine with it because when it comes to animation, I don't rate that at the top of the list. Like when I think about rating an anime, I look for plot, characters, interactions, all that stuff. Animation is one of the lower criteria when I'm looking at an overall anime. So I kind of ignore it, which is why I'm indifferent to what overall the art looks like. But for me, I know from looking at the past sets that if you don't put a sign on a rare card, it is not going to do well because there are going to be people that, of course, will buy this thing. They will buy it, but at the same time, they are not going to continue buying it. There's not going to be people that want to buy this because it's not that special, right? They would rather buy a booster box SP that has a signature like these. So with this booster box, you have 4 booster box SPs, and as you can see, we got Team RWBY, and I lined them up by the RWBY right there. There you go, RWBY. And one of the biggest complaints that I've seen about this is the Lindsay Jones signature. Again, I am okay with that. This is not really a signature, is what people are saying, and even then they hate the way she signs, but that's how she signs. I'm not going to change the lady. That's how she does it. Because again, you can see right here, we got some pretty nice signatures from the other ladies, but Lindsay Jones, not so great. I don't care. I mean, that's just how she signs the stuff. She's consistent across, like, when she's at convention signing things. I think it's fine enough. When you look at these cards, some people are going to say it looks flat and all that stuff. I think it's okay. I'm fine with it. This is the RWBY that I know, the overall series. So the artwork for me is fine. I bet when you see it in hand, it's going to be really awesome and you're going to want it. I feel like that's actually the case. So now we have the booster box RWBY Rares. I believe that's RWBY Rares, RBR. And what you have here is your stamp version. As you see, no signatures at all. It's like the quintessential quintuplet SPs that had none. It's like, I guess you could say, yeah, it would be Heaven's Feel too that would have the same kind of thing. I am not a fan of this Yang. I don't know what it is. I feel like this right here, her symbol, all that, it looks like a big blob. You know, Weiss at the very least, it looks clean and crisp. But this is how their symbols are, I guess. This is how it's going to be. I don't know what else to say about it. It's just, it is what it is. You're either gonna, that's what I mean by this. People are either gonna love it or hate this set. And from what I see, the people that actually like RWBY, for the most part, the majority of them, people coming outside of this game, people that are in this game, the people that actually love RWBY overlook this. They're saying that they just want the SPs, they want the RBRs, they want it all. And I'm one of those people. I love RWBY, and if I get this Yang, will I be a little disappointed? Kind of like the same thing as getting an Itsuki over Miku, but at the same time, in the end, I'm going to be happy that I pulled an RBR out of my box. I do want this RWBY. RWBY looks really cool. Okay, overall, what we have from the booster box is 4 RBRs, 4 SPs, and 1 SEC. And this is just my guess, right? We don't know yet. No one's got these boxes. No one tore them open unless stores already got them and they're ripping them open. But what I think is going to happen in this set is, in one case, I think you're going to get 1 RBR and then 2 SP per case. Just because overall you have 4 SP and 4 RBRs and 1 SEC. I use SP and SEC interchangeably because we know from other sets that if you get an SEC that it will replace one of these SPs. So just keep that in mind. What I think is going to happen is master case. A master case is going to yield 2 RBR, 3 to 4 SP, at which one of them is going to most likely be an SEC. So if you're getting 4 in a master case, one of those would be an SEC. So that's why I say that it's 3 to 4. I think in some cases you're going to get a master case and you're not going to get an SEC. That's my guess. That's why I wrote it that way. Overall, you're getting 4 SP, but sometimes you're going to get an SEC and sometimes you're not. That's the thing of how I believe it's going to go down. We'll see what happens. And there are PRs, which I alluded to earlier, that are in the supply set. I will show them later on. And moving on, I'm going to go here to the supply set. The supply set is pretty interesting because supply set has, we have a deck case. We have 5 booster packs. We got sleeves, and the sleeves actually looks really cool. You know, I bought a few of these because I do myself like this overall design. It looks really cool. And lastly, we have each set will contain 1 of 4 types of foil PR cards. So the supply set promo cards are based off of the ones that come out of the booster box. And as you can see here, I'm going to flip back and forth right now so you can see it. So the booster box, the booster box promo PR cards, ignore this. I'm not going back and doing this. I don't even know what I was writing there. Booster box promo cards are right here. And as you can see, some people love the art on it. I love the Ruby. I think Shirley looks cool. Weiss looks cool. Blake looks a little bland to me, and Yang's okay. Yang's okay. Overall, these cards are pretty weak. The PR cards are pretty weak. They do look really cool, but at the same time, it's all on your taste, right? Because some people are gonna love the supply set promos. The supply set promos are foily. Like you're gonna see a bunch of foil. When you look at the booster box, they are not going to be shiny at all. They're just going to be your normal non-foil PRs. So there's gonna be a difference of opinion here. And that difference of opinion is going to lead whether people speculate slash invest, collect into the supply set itself. Because this is the only place you can get these shiny PR cards is the supply set. So some people are going to be buying into it and some people won't. It depends on how much you think people in the future value these actual shiny PR cards. Some people will, some people won't. If you listen to, let's say, JKTCG, by the way, JKTCG did that, I think it was 4 hours when he was closing the shop up. It's still on YouTube. It's one of those ones where if you haven't listened to it, you really should. It gives you a lot of insight on the market itself and what he was thinking all along. One of the things he said in there was foil variants of cards that have actual different actual images do add a certain value to it because you'll want to collect them. This being, we have a plain PR and then we have a shiny PR with a different image. Plus, add the fact that you can only get it from the supply set. It really is a gamble on how many people bought this supply set or not. And we're going to go into the dangers of supply sets. You can see here with the 7 Deadly Sins, the thing with supply sets is they have all the same stuff in it, right? You have a deck case, you have 5 booster packs, and sleeves. The difference with RWBY is RWBY put these shiny PR cards in it. The 7 Deadly Sins did not have these shiny PR foil cards inside of it. Overall, with 7 Deadly Sins as well, there was a ton of buying, too much buying. There was a humongous oversupply, and as you can see, when I said in the beginning was, supply sets, you can find them for what I say, 26 to 45, I believe, 26 to $45. You could see here, 7 Deadly Sins supply set, as low as $20. Just too many of them. People bought into it thinking it was worth more. Overall, you have to break it down by how much is a pack worth. You'll start seeing, like if you actually do the math on this, you'll see like sleeves and deck cases are roughly $10 in total. And then the rest of these booster packs add into that 20 mark. That's how you get that out. The one thing I will say about supply sets, and I feel like they are definitely investable the farther and farther you go back. The reason I say that is if you heard my interview with, or talk with Dean that I had, Dean from Burn 1, he was saying that supply sets, a case of supply sets, there's 16 of them, which is actually the magic number because if you buy 16 of these, for the most part, I can't guarantee it, but you should get 4 of each of these cards. 4 times 4 is 16. So if you buy a case of these things, you should get 4 of each card. Should being the magic word, because crazy things happen and maybe you'll end up with 5 and 3 of a card. Okay? But what he was saying in there was, normally there is a guaranteed SP inside of one of the 16 things in there. And we always say normal because Bushiroad never puts it out there. Weiss Schwarz never put out there that there is a guarantee that you're going to get a certain drop rate. We think that there's random booster packs in there. We don't know for sure. But overall, what has been seen in the past is 1 SP and a case of supply sets. And the reason I say that is, I think I was going to bring this up, but these things, see that Haruhi? The nice part about this Haruhi set is it comes with 10 booster packs. So if you are looking for, let's say, Haruhi, usual Haruhi, anything like that, you probably have a fairly decent shot at it, because I don't know how many people were, I would say, mapping these things way back when. I feel like that's one of the better items to pick up, just because if you're wary of people mapping or dead boxes, whatever term you want to use, then things like this are pretty nice. I'm not saying you should buy that. I'm not saying anything like that at all. For me, I love these Meister sets just for that reason. I feel like I could trust them just because people weren't, I would imagine, searching through that. And it comes with a playmat. It's pretty awesome. Good value. So overall, if you're going to buy these supply sets, you do have that bonus PR, which should help the value more so than what happened with 7 Deadly Sins. Just keep in mind what I said. It feels like there's a bunch of people that are buying into this set. If you hit oversupply, it's going to look ugly. It's going to look like this, and it's not going to be good at all. However, I saw people on TCG Player buying this thing for RWBY supply set for a lot of money. I definitely would advise against that. Next thing we got is trial decks. Trial decks, I always do love trial decks, really, because this is your gateway in for a new player. New players can use this, play this, have a play mat that'll tell them how to play, and you can have fun with friends without having to think about building a deck. It's all in good fun and learning the game. With this actual trial deck, there are 2 SPs, which is awesome. I love when a set has 2 SPs over 1, and this time around you do actually get signatures. And I do love this quote, "Are you robbing me?" First episode. I love that when she says that to one of the dudes in the store, and then the music kicks on. Really amazing part. It got me hooked on RWBY right away. It was really nice. With trial decks, the reason why I need to have 2 SPs is because I will use 7 Deadly Sins as the example. 7 Deadly Sins, as you could see here, $9.25 for a trial deck. I believe I said something like $16 to $25 for trial decks. You could see here that is not remotely even close. This display here has 6 trial decks in there, $58.70, which is it's an awesome price for someone wanting to buy into this stuff. It is terrible as a seller, I believe. I don't know what the pricing for a seller distributor price is for it. I just feel that is really low. But hey, if anybody knows, you can tell me what the price is. And the reason why is oversupply. People bought too much into this because they put a lot of faith in this Elizabeth Searching for the Sins SP. There was only 1 SP in this set. And the reason why I said this is bad, oversupply. You open these things, you pull out the SP, and now what people are doing, there is a certain drop rate, right? You get 2 per case, which is 48 trial decks. So you'll get 2 SPs out of 48, and what ended up happening was there was an oversupply because we have her being pulled and people just putting it up for sale. We have so many trial decks, we have so many trial deck displays. With RWBY, you have 2. So in 48, you're gonna get 1 and 1. More than likely, you're gonna get 1 and 1. Where over here you got 2. So you had double the supply of Elizabeth. With this set, you're gonna get half that, right? Half is going into Weiss and half is going into RWBY. which will be nice. And overall, I think they're likable characters because it also does help that the trial deck is actually good, where the Seven Deadly Sins not so good. So there's that nice balance of, hey, there's power, there's collectability to it. There we are. But just do watch out again. Oversupply on this thing is going to mess you up in the short term. Overall, what I'm thinking here is we got anime following, which it's not an anime again. It's American made. I guess it's American made animation type something. I don't know what the word. Cartoon. Let's go with cartoon. American cartoon following 4 stars. I think it's one of the better titles they could have picked from when you think about an English exclusive. I'm not giving it a 5 stars just because what's weird about this set is there are people in the anime community that just absolutely hate it because they don't deem it anime. It's a weird thought. And what I mean by that is it's funny because when you see videos of different, let's say, YouTubers that do different cards and they talk about Weiss, if you scroll down, people make fun of it. They're like, this isn't a card game. It's just screen grabs of anime and all this other stuff. It's just for weebs and all this other stuff. Those people are insulting Weiss the game. Weiss Schwarz the game. Then when you look at anime communities and bring up RWBY, they're like, this is an anime. It's garbage. It's, you know, I just find it funny that a niche down into a niche and criticizing another part of a niche. It's really odd. So with the anime or cartoon or whatever you want to call it, it's 4. I can't give it a 5. But there is a huge amount of people out there that love this. My niece and her friends, they do watch it. They love it. There's people that don't watch anime that actually have watched RWBY, which actually surprised me. Meta strength 4. Again, check out Burn 1. I agree with what was happening there. English exclusives in general seem to be getting more powerful for all the reasons I've been saying. It's not going to be meta changing. It's not going to be the top of the meta, anything like that. But at the very least, they're not going to send new people that are coming into this game out there with a set that's just going to get beat down. They're not going to do that because they're going to leave. And the whole idea here is to attract more people. Overall, this is a love or hate set. You're either going to love this anime, you're going to hate it. You're going to like the art, you're going to hate the art. Who knows? I mean, anime people might hate the fact that it's called anime. I think overall, it's a long-term hold due to the large following out there. Short-term, as I've said before, I feel like there will be an oversupply of this. Just watch out. I won't go nuts in here because there are many more sets coming out. But I myself do love RWBY, and I did buy a bunch of it. There we go. The nice part again, pro side, we got TDs have 2 SPs for all the reasons I stated before. 2 SPs better than 1. That's why I said I'd rather have 2 SECs over 1 SEC, especially since we got the 9 non-signed SEC. There's a small pool of booster SPs, which I do not like at all. 4 SPs is terrible unless the card list that they have out on the Weiss Schwarz website is missing some SPs. But from what I'm seeing, I only see 4 SPs. We have RBRs, which are iffy for me because, again, they're foiled, non-signed, and the art isn't the greatest. Playsets are definitely at $250. I've seen people sell them at $250 without TDs. Remember, this is a TD set, so a TD set, playset with it would probably be $275, $280. And from what I'm seeing, people are actually selling a lot of these playsets, so people are buying into this. Maybe I'm not seeing it all, but from the ones I've seen listed, they are gone. People are buying them up. Singles will be definitely available since people are buying a lot of these to get the SPs. Make no doubt about it. No matter what, even though people don't like this set or hate the art, there are other people that like this art and are buying into the set. Another negative here is we haven't seen a set 2 for an English exclusive. I haven't seen it happen. It hasn't happened yet. And if you're looking for a set 2, maybe to make this more powerful or hoping that the better animation from the future season come out, I don't know what to tell you. We haven't seen it yet. Supply sets have that shiny PR, though not great power-wise. So if you're going to buy into the supply set, you're more than likely going to do it because, and when I mean buy into it, I'm not saying you're just buying one or two. You're probably buying 4, 8, 12, 16. That's what I mean by buying into it. If you're buying into it, it's probably because you're looking for those shiny PRs, having a payoff in the end. You get those bonus booster packs as well. And lastly, my last negative here is military weapon is not named combat ready. I know other people had that gripe about it. I have that gripe about it. Penny was one of my favorite characters in this show, and I was happy that they actually gave her cards because for the longest I was like, why are they not showing any Penny, man? Penny was a good character. She had some good moments in there, and I'm glad she's in it. I feel like you could have chose a different name for that gold bar climax, but it is what it is. And there we are. So overall, I think RWBY for me definitely a buy and hold into the future. If you're wondering because you've watched all these before, there are sets coming up that I'm not going to say is like an investment kind of thing. There are sets that I feel that would be the case, and there's one coming up. Even though I love them so much, I am going to say that. So there are times where I'm not going to say that. In this case, I like RWBY. If you don't like RWBY, maybe you don't invest in it. But overall, I think it's one of those ones in the future with how much love is surrounding this series that it will be good into the future. Have a good one.